Hello, welcome to Program with Sam, and this is Getting Started with R. So today we're going to be looking at R and getting started with R. R is a great language for calculating and visualizing mathematical equations and functions. It's very similar to Python syntactically, and in terms of sort of like the packages available are very similar as well. In fact, if there's a function in R, you can probably find it in Python. And the syntax is in some cases so similar that if you're doing both at the same time, you're probably going to have some moments where you write R code in Python or you write Python code in R. And you'll get errors, which is unfortunate, but it's just one of those things because they are so similar, realistically. R comes with a wide variety of packages, just like Python, and they're all sort of like held on mirrors. And so when it comes to installing and downloading things, generally you just have to pick a mirror and pick one that's close to you to improve the download speed. But in order to get started with R, we're going to need some sort of IDE or some way of sort of like creating scripts and then running them. So we're going to take a look at two today, and you can pick which one you'd like to use. They have pretty similar functionality, to be honest. The first thing we're going to look at is RStudio, which is shown here. So if you go to Products and choose RStudio, the Premier IDE for R, and you want the desktop version, and you just want to download the free version, the open source edition. They're going to ask you for this. You're going to want to go for the free one, and then you just click the download installer, and I'm pretty sure it just auto picks for your system. So it's a really simple process. Boom, save, and then once that's all downloaded, you go ahead and run the installer. The second IDE we're going to be showing is R. So if you just navigate over to R, the project for statistical computing, you can go to download R, and I'll leave a link to this page in the actual blog and in the description of the video. But you'll see there's a bunch of different mirrors for it, bunch of different ones. I'm in the UK, so I'd pick one that was closest to me in the UK. And if you just select one, so if we select London, you can then download for your OS. So I download for Windows, and I click install R for the first time, download. And it then gives me the XE, which I can just save, and then I could go ahead and install it. So we'll take a look at making some scripts now. So we'll cut to that now. So this is what the R GUI bit looks like when you actually open up the R program. You've got a console here, and then obviously you could type in R code. But if you want to make a script, what you'll want to be doing is going File and New Script, and it really is as easy as that. You can then comment things. You like, this is a comment, and then if we run that line, it just comes up as this is a comment, and it doesn't throw a compilation error. You could do other things as well, but we'll take a look at some of them in a second. Right now, we'll have a look at creating scripts in RStudio. So this is RStudio. Obviously, it looks very similar to sort of like Spider that we've seen before in Python and other IDEs in general. You have sort of like your code bit here. You have the console output down here. This is where sort of like images get output. So I believe potentially if I do this, except I can't remember what the run hotkey is. Run. There we go. So yeah, so images and graphs and stuff will get plotted there. All very nice. And then you can obviously select code, similar to how you can in the other R environment. You select code and you can run it, or you can just type directly into the console. So yeah, and it's very simple, and obviously file save follows a pretty similar structure to any other IDE. So now we're going to be looking at installing packages. So there's actually a really easy way of doing it. Like in most IDEs, in particular this one, you can just do install packages, and it will ask you which mirror you want and then which package. But one thing you can do as well is you can do install packages R spectra. Let's do R part. Might have to be in quotation marks. And then, yes, so you have to put quotation marks. But then we select the mirror, so we'll select London. And then it should also download, and it unpacks it. For me, it's just going into app data. I think it's possible to set up where it goes. If we click update packages, it's going to update all of those packages for us. I think there is a way to set it where it goes, but realistically, I mean, you don't really need to worry about it. It's not a big deal unless you're regularly sort of like emptying out your app data folder. It's probably going to be fine. I mean, all of the, yeah, cool, and job done. So that's basically how you'd install how you'd install packages in R. You could also do it through the script as well. So if we open a new script, how we then include them is, as I showed earlier, you'd include the library, and this time you don't need the quotation marks, just R part. And then if you run that, it just gives me a warning message saying that R part was built under R version 3.6.2. And I'm assuming that just means that it's updated, or this has been updated since. But yeah, that's the gist of it. That's it for this time. Next time we're going to be looking at vectors and looking at matrices in R. We'll also be sort of looking at just different operands and ways that we can work and manipulate variables in R. And we'll also be looking at some available functions that may be useful to us. If you'd like to follow me at ProgramSamBlog or follow the blog directly at programwithsam.code.blog, that would be much appreciated. And I'll see you in the next one.